Okay, everybody, we ready to get started? I was advised that the clock over here is wrong. I should not follow it. Thank you, Jean. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to Lake and Wildlife. Appreciate you coming out this morning. It was a little chilly, right? It was one of those start to feel like maybe I'm just going to stay home by the fire with my coffee. So I appreciate you coming out today. So we're going to go through some of the things that have happened recently since our last meeting. This Sally Doss trail cleanup was a wonderful turnout for people. I don't know if having lunch was part of the attraction, but we had a good group that came and ate sandwiches and spread a lot of mulch. This is in the upper Sally Doss area where we had been dealing with still the impact from the July hurricane, and all the trees were down and the big trees were cleaned up. Between Lake and Wildlife and BTCI did a lot of work, the grounds crews, to get some of the big trees, and so it was safe enough for regular people to get in and, you know, spread the mulch and move the branches and things. So we have a lot more sun up at Upper Sally Doss now than we did before, but hopefully we'll be pushing that habitat in the right direction, making sure it doesn't just cover up with stilt grass, right, Barbara? That's right. So that'll be a whole new experience for us up there. See some of the pictures, some of the helpers that were there, but not everybody is in these pictures, but it was fun. It was a great experience. So if you were there, thank you, and if you weren't, then maybe you can make it next time and support Lake and Wildlife in other ways besides getting out and doing this heavy lifting. Also, the KBTV fall planting happened at the landscape zone, so right around admin, and we're putting in seasonal color. So that happened a couple weeks ago. Thank you to everybody who was involved in that activity. It keeps those areas having a bit of polish around some of our core administrative areas. So that's always nice. And then streamkeepers training. So I'm going to come up and share a little bit about how this went. It's hard with the thing behind you, so if you want to move this way, you can.
Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Streamkeepers had a wild month, a very good month. We did Streamkeepers training last weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, and we had about 12 people there. And we have to be recertified each year, and it's the state adopted stream test that we have to pass for the chemical, for the macroinvertebrates, the nice little bugs that keep the fish alive, and then also bacteria. And so we go through the training for 2 days, and then we are certified and tested. And so all of us passed those tests, and some of the people that passed are not here today, but a couple of them are. And Dave and Kim, Dave and Ada. Of course, myself and Dara, but also a new guy, Steve Hall. And Steve's been around here for a long time, but he spent 2 days with us and passed all his exams, so he will be with us as we go down the road and working on those streams. Now, as far as streams, last month everything is clear, it's good, it's low. We are in a severe drought, extreme drought, and so Sally Doss is dry. Mulligan's barely running, but Long Swamp is still coming in and going out. So the lake level's down, the spillway's down, but you know, there's still water enough to go through. The oxygen levels, the pH levels are all very good in the streams, and they're very good in the lakes, so that the fish will survive. We'll be all right. We've been through this before, up and down. So just want to let you know they're okay. Barbara! I'm sorry. Yeah. Barbara was there with us too in Streamkeepers, and she also passed all her tests. Yeah. She's so quiet, you know.
Next one?
Yeah. So there's a lot of things going on. I'll just keep on going here with the schedules. Holiday poinsettias, you have to order those by Wednesday of next week. Tamarack treasures, Friday and Saturday, and deck the halls.
Hang on.
Yeah, bring in the stuff on Friday, but Saturday is the actual sale. As you know, Andy couldn't be here today, but in their theatrical way, they've decided to have one of Santa's elves here today to talk about the schedule. Debbie, I'll let you come up and talk about these items in detail.
I figure you may not remember what I say, but you'll remember how I looked. So maybe that'll ring a bell later in the week. Brian's already mentioned the poinsettia sale. They're still looking for lots more orders, y'all. So if you haven't ordered one, please get your order into Andy by the 8th. We'll be distributing those at the next partners meeting that Saturday, December 2nd. So you'll be able to pick them up when you come to that December meeting. So it's super convenient. Tamarack Treasures, a week from today. It is a one-day only sale this time, y'all. So come out, support. This is a huge fundraiser for Lake and Wildlife, and all the wonderful things that they're telling you that have been accomplished during the year are partly funded by these fundraisers. The fall planting, the poinsettia sale pays for the spring and the fall flowers that Andy and his team with KBTV put out, so it's important that we support that. Tamarack Treasures will be 9 to 5 on Saturday. We'll be setting up Thursday and Friday, so if you are interested in getting involved with the setup, I will tell you right now, we have a great time doing that. The Friday news yesterday had a live link in the Tamarack Treasures ad, which was all the way at the bottom of the Friday news. Just scroll, 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 scroll. All the way at the bottom, you'll see our flyer. There's a live link on there. If you want to volunteer to help Thursday or Friday with the setup, or the decorating, click on that link and you'll be able to see all the different openings that are still available. So we would encourage all of you to come out and get involved with that. Another way to get involved with Tamarack Treasures, if you're bakers, gentlemen or ladies, Luann Chambers is looking for folks to bake for the bake sale. She's got a flyer here. Luann was not able to be here today, but they're looking for cakes and cookies and brownies and any kind of treats that are your specialty. She gives you information on the sheet about how to package them, when to drop them off, where to drop them off, and it's got Luann's number if you've got any questions. So we would encourage you to help support that aspect. This is a huge part of the Tamarack Treasure sale. They make a ton of money selling sweets to all of us. So, and just in case you hadn't heard enough about Tamarack Treasures this year, I want to give you a heads up about Tamarack Treasures 2025. Last year in January, as all of you guys were taking down your holiday stuff, we said if you're not going to use it next year, you want to change, you're downsizing, you've inherited, your kids don't want your stuff, whatever, we'll take it. You don't have to repack it. It doesn't have to go back in the attic. It doesn't have to go back in the storage closet. Bring it to us. Last year on the one day that we collected your holiday items that you didn't want, we collected 76 boxes, apple boxes of donations. So that was a large part of what we collected for the sale that we're having next Saturday. We'll be advertising this more, but I just wanted to give you a heads up as you're starting to think holiday decor, Thanksgiving, and all of the various Christmas holidays or December holidays, not just Christmas. Think about whether or not you want it next year. If you don't, please don't take it to the thrift store. Just get rid of it. Save it for us January 15th. And again, there's going to be a lot more advertising. We will be accepting those donations. It's going to be just like we did for Tamarack Treasures. It's going to be at admin. You just pull up. We will unload your car. We will take all of the things for you, and we will handle it from there. Last thing, not a Tamarack Treasures item, we still have our ongoing sheet sale. This is the time of year where we start thinking about gifts for those adult children that are so hard to buy for. And then we do our January white sales. If you are interested in supporting Lake and Wildlife through that way, I've got samples up here that you can come feel what the quality of the sheets are like. They're very nice. There's also just little flyers you can take that give you a link. You have to type in the whole thing. I will try to get a live link in Friday News going forward where you can just click on the link to order your sheets. But that is a great fundraiser. We really don't have to do anything other than buy from it. So would encourage you to consider that as well. So all from the fundraising part of Lake and Wildlife. So thanks, y'all.
Just to finish up some of the schedule, you'll see in an email and also emails to come to you in regard to Andy and KTV and doing the holiday Christmas decorations and when that is, putting those up.
Yeah, that's the outdoor stuff. There's 2 sets of decorations. You'll see BTAC, the Activities Committee, advertising for decorating in here in this building. At Lake and Wildlife Handle, see outside mail center, back gate, front gate. That's what that's about.
BTAC is November 28th. If we want to.
Okay.
Okay.
So plenty of opportunities to help decorate. Spirit going.
Yeah. Speaking of the holiday spirit, we have flyers on the tables for the December dinner party. And that we have every year, Friday, December 15th, here at Club Tamarack. As you can see, reservations are due by December 8th. There's a cash bar, 5:30 to 6:15, iced tea, coffee, meats. Asking that you bring appetizer, vegetable salad, and you circle that and get this in the mail back to Luann, who couldn't be here today. She has visitors from out of the country. So if you'll notice, this is $15 a person. It's up a little bit from last year, but that's what it is. That's the inflation we live in, and we just all need to understand that. So Luann wanted me to make sure you all get these, sign up, and get them in the mail. Back to her.
Just another note on the holiday party. We always kind of recap what we've gone through this year, the good, the bad, the ugly, lots of pictures, lots of sharing. And it's not a fundraiser. Our goal is to break even on the holiday party, not lose money, not make money. It's an opportunity for us, for the folks who are participating in Lake and Wildlife, who view themselves as friends and partners of Lake and Wildlife, just to come together in a time of fellowship and fun, and that's the focus of the holiday party. So there's forms on the table. You can take one, and you'll get emails, and they'll be all over. So that's all.
Okay. So coming up December, as you can see, 2nd will be our next meeting in December, and we also have Jim come in, our GM, to talk to us about what's going on the year in reverse, the year looking forward. And December 15th, the holiday party we just talked about. And December 27th, the Moonlight Hike that is always done by the hiking trails people. Okay. Your 2024 State of Officers and Executive Board. A little bit of change because Dara's spent 3 years with us, which we appreciate so much as leader. Her term is going to be expiring, so she will continue to be here, of course, and have Habitat Conservation Chair, which she will be. I will continue to be a co-chair, and Rick Patterson will be my co-chair with me to co-chair Lake and Wildlife in the coming year. The treasurer will be Denise McCabe, who will be coming on Monday to work with Rick and work through the treasurer position. Secretary, Carolyn. And Special Events Chair, Luann. She's not here today. Wildlife Chair will continue to be Elden. You're going to do it one more time, he said.
Hey, it's good.
Yeah. You can't beat the benefits, right?
They time off sometimes.
Lake and Streams will be Cal, Hopkins, continuing that role. Special Projects, Kevin O'Brien, who will be taking over for art.
There he is, in the back.
Thanks, Kevin. We appreciate it very much. Of course, you know art will still be in it, but we appreciate that. Kevin, KBTV, of course, Andy will continue in that role. Trails Chair, Mason Holland. Fundraising co-chairs, of course, Marietta and Deb White. And they will share that together, which will be great. And Conservation Chair, Dara. So there's your role of officers for the coming year. So, next we're going to talk, and Elden will make a presentation on what came back on that survey about deer in our community. And this could be very interesting. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Elden.
think everybody's been kind of anxious to get some results from the deer survey we did earlier this year. Everybody remember the survey? This was a decision Lake and Wildlife made early in the year to participate with the University of Georgia in a study that they were conducting in conjunction with DNR. And at the time that we decided we were going to participate, they kind of viewed the program as involving several communities like Bent Tree, like Coosawattee River, Big Canoe, Lake Arrowhead. But as it turned out, unfortunately, we and Martin's Landing in Roswell are the only two communities that participated at this point. So anyway, it was a research project to better understand the perception and the preferences of the stakeholders for managing deer in suburban and semi-rural communities in Georgia. And that was started in early 2022. The project was kind of coordinated by a young man working on his graduate degree, Shane Bone, and he's still working on it. And I think he did a real good job. You remember he spent 3 days over at the Mail Center answering questions and so forth. So anyway, we got involved in about March of this year. Like I said, the project started in January 22, and when we decided to participate, we were asked to form a focus group for Bent Tree, which we did, and we had 12 people on the focus group. And we had a meeting with Shane and Dr. D'Angelo, and kind of get a feel for what the program was all about and how we would participate. In June, they mailed 830 paper surveys. We had a 55% response, which they were pretty pleased with. Thought that was a pretty good response. Our survey, as you recall, was mail, and anytime someone did not receive a survey, they could go and request a copy, and they did it by email. 63 surveys were handled by email with a 78% response. So all in all, according to Shane, we had about a 57% overall response, which was good, better than Martin's Landing. They did Martin's Landing a little different. They went house to house and conducted their survey a little different. A couple of weeks ago, we finally got an executive summary. A bit disappointed. We thought we would get more at this point. But anytime an organization like DNR and UGA get together, politics and bureaucracy kick in, and they spend an awful lot of time looking at the results of the surveys and how to present it, what they should present at this point, because the project continues into next year. So anyway, we finally got a one-page executive summary, which what I'm going to do this morning is just kind of take you through it and highlight what was presented in the executive summary, the overall results of the survey. Most respondents perceive a general increase in the Bent Tree deer populations since they moved in. Surprise, surprise. To support that, we just completed our annual deer survey a couple of weeks ago, and it in fact shows that our deer population is still increasing. Last year we were at 35 deer per square mile. This year it shows like we're at like 39 per square mile. Okay, 51% of the population that responded want the deer population to remain the same. 35% would like to see it decrease. The 3 most common deer conflicts that were reported in the survey was 1, damage to ornamental landscape plants. Second was disagreements between residents over deer. And the third one was neighbors feeding deer. So that's the top 3 most common deer conflicts that we have here in Bent Tree. I thought maybe we'd see deer automobile incidents as one of the top conflicts, but it was not. So, which is good. All right. Top 3 least tolerable deer-related conflicts are illegal hunting activity, residents sabotaging legal hunting efforts, and neighbors feeding deer. Least tolerable deer-related conflicts. The 2 most supported deer harvesting sources: government professional sharpshooters, private hunters meeting Bent Tree and proficiency standards. And those would be sources that are most supported should we decide to do anything as far as harvesting deer. The severity of conflicts between deer and residents. 36% viewed conflicts as not an issue. 34% felt it was a minor issue. And 34% felt it was moderate or higher issue. 54% did not want to spend money to resolve deer-related conflicts. And understand Martin's Landing had about the same result. The majority didn't want to spend money to resolve deer-related conflicts, the conflicts.
What was that amount? What amount would it cost?
I have no idea. Yeah. 54% were neither dissatisfied nor satisfied with Bent Tree response to deer-related conflicts. And I'm not sure what that means. Top 3 supported deer management techniques. Education, eliminate supplemental feeding, and improving the habitat. The top 3 techniques perceived to be effective in deer management: professional shooting, education, and eliminating supplemental feeding. Okay. Respondents were most concerned about the health of the Bent Tree herd. And I understand that was basically the same conclusion that Martin's Landing had. And I understand Martin's Landing is like they're between interstates, between Georgia 400 and interstate, and it's sort of it's a suburban community. So, but anyway, the health of the deer herd. And when we did our deer survey, the deer are healthy. We didn't see any evidence that deer are starving or having issues and everything. There's a lot of food out there. I've never seen an acorn crop like we've had this year. So the health of the herd is good, but people that responded said that was a very high concern. 3 most acceptable situations to harvest deer. 1 would be to control diseases, improve the deer population health, and manage the deer population size. What's next? UGA is going to continue analyzing the data. I talked to Shane yesterday, and his team are still going over the results of the survey, and they're going to continue doing that for the next 2, 3, 4 months, we probably will not see anything until in the spring, after they finish all of their evaluation and consultation with DNR, and I'm sure they're going to have a lot of discussion as to what does the results of the survey really show, and how can they formulate a recommendation on how to best manage our deer. Shane indicated that just because some of these results showed what the top 3 interests were, in the final recommendation, it may not necessarily reflect that same survey result after they mash everything together and look at the big picture and so forth. So anyway, we'll have to wait and see what they come up with. They're going to begin drafting a customized deer management plan for Bent Tree, and like I said, we probably won't see that until sometimes in the spring. Definitely in by October of 24, when that's when the funding ends. So anyway, we've got a lot to look forward to. How much value we're going to get out of this thing remains to be seen, but hey, it was free. We felt like it would supplement whatever we're doing over here and to help us better manage our deer. But I want to thank everybody that participated in the survey, and the fact that you're here today, I suspect you're most of the 500 somewhat people that responded to the survey. So any questions? Thank you.
I, for one, was very pleased to see that people valued education, both as a, I don't remember where it fell out in there, but education came up on top in multiple categories, and I think that is important, that people, the more we understand and take the time to learn about the complexities of certain situations, the better able we are to have an opinion and come to a consensus across the community about, again, what, if anything, we do. So education is a big part of what Lake and Wildlife is about. Okay, we are going to, now this is the second part of our program. We're going to play some sounds over the loudspeaker. And there are papers on your table. The sounds of Bent Tree. Now you can work in groups, you can work individually. I don't know if you could collaborate across the whole table, but if your whole table wants to, you can, as couples. I don't know, however you choose to work together across these answers here. There are a few prizes on the table, some of our great we've got our great cards that were done. I love these cards. They will be on sale at Tamarack Treasures. Make sure you look at the back. These are examples of the way they are done and what's put on the back. There's some on the table, and also a book, The Native Trees of Georgia. These are prizes. I'm going to leave it up to each table to decide who wins. Right? So, because I couldn't think of a better way to do that, and if there's, we'll have no fighting. If there's a really strong desire, just let me know, and I'll come up with a different one. So we don't have to fight over them. All right? All right. So here we go. Now we're going to listen to the sound. And then I just need you to record. You'll get the answer as you go. We're not going to do all 10 and then go back over. You're going to hear it, the sound, and then we'll talk about what that is, okay? It's coming. All right, we'll play it one more time. All right, are we ready? Everybody got their guesses? All right. That is a red fox. All right. Somebody was right. I heard him up here saying it right? The red fox actually has been 28 different sounds that the red fox can make. The females, they call that a vixen scream, is one. It's a mating call. You'll hear it most in December and January. It's I guess a come to me baby kind of call in the middle of the night. And males sometimes scream too, but that's mostly to ward off competition. And so that's a sound that we should be hearing more and more through the coming months. And it's disconcerting. It sounds kind of like I don't know, a lot of people think it's an owl, so that's a common guess. What other guesses did we have? A crow? An owl? A hawk? Yeah. Bobcat, okay. That anybody get fox? Who got fox? Oh, okay. Oh, the fox, okay. Oh, all right, here we go. Here's the next one. Can you hear it? Everybody got their guesses in? All right. That is a barred owl, right? Give yourself extra credit. If you said owl, 1 point, barred owl, 2 points, right? That's the classic who cooks for you? Who cooks for you? Who cooks for you? That's how how people remember that noise. Barred owls are named because of the bars that you see prominently on their wings. That's where they got their name from. And they nest in tree cavities and hollows. So they take great advantage of the holes that woodpeckers often make in trees and natural tree cavities. In that one, you see the barred owl on the top of a snag feeding its baby. So its nest is probably down in the top of that snag, which is a standing dead tree. A lot of wildlife use them. I'll keep saying it. A lot of wildlife use standing dead trees. All right, our next one. Just saying insect is not enough. Mike. Are we ready? Do you want to hear it again? No? All right. It is a cricket. That's right. Crickets, a lot of people, and I thought that I'd always heard they make music or they sing with their legs. But apparently that's not true. Apparently they sing with their wings. Something about their wings allow them to make those sounds. And it's mostly the males. And that, crickets all over the world, they come in many sizes and many colors. And cultures around the world have real different perspectives on crickets. In some cultures, they're beloved. They're a sign of good luck. People will even keep crickets in their house as a sign of good luck. In some cultures, they're considered a very tasty food. Some people say that we're going to, in the future, we'll all be eating things made out of cricket flour, cricket protein. So I don't know. They seem like they've got a future. I'm not just sure what exactly it looks like, but that's our cricket. All right, next one. Now you got to listen carefully for this one. It's a tough one. Can y'all hear it? Did you hear it? Yeah. Want it again? One more time? I'll give you a hint. This sound has been slowed down appreciably for us to even be able to hear it. Everybody got their guess? It's the little, anybody get bat? All right. Oh, good job. Yes, that's the little brown bat. They're one of our species of bats in Georgia, and they're a great pollinator, which I didn't know that bats play that role. And they are so much better to have in your yard for insect control than anything else. They eat thousands of mosquitoes every night, so welcome them when you see them flying around. Bats are pretty cool critters. But that little chirping noise is the slowed down sound of a little brown bat. All right, next one. All right, everybody got their guess? It's a chipmunk. Yeah, who got chipmunk? Anybody? Good for you. That is a vocalization. That's a warning sound of danger, a warning of danger. It's a very common type of vocalization. Almost all critters have some sound that they make to warn others in their family and of their species, and it sounds very much like a squirrel. It's very similar to a squirrel sound, the chipmunks. All right, here we go. Yes, the bullfrog. I'm imagining everybody got that one. That's they're wonderful to hear at night. They're croaking. I think they're fascinating the way they serenade us on summer nights. Okay, this one is there are two sounds. We're going to play two different sounds that this animal makes, and give yourself bonus points if you not only get the animal, but what it is they're trying to communicate with each of these sounds. So here's the first one. And that clacking noise was part of the sound. That wasn't like somebody's equipment or something. That was part of the vocalization of the animal. So, one more time, okay? Okay, so not only what animal is it, but what do you think they're trying to communicate to us with that sound? All right, and here's the second sound. The same animal, just a different message that they're sending. One more time. Everybody looks perplexed. I'm hearing things that are accurate though. All right, so everybody. You need more time? No? All right. It's the black bear. Okay. A lot of times the way that the bears vocalize. Who got bear? Oh, good. Vocalizations often go along with body posture. And I'm just going to read this because I found this was fascinating about our bears. The first sound with the clacking is what they call bluster. It's a huffing, and then it's their teeth clacking together, which is making that clacking noise. And bears make this noise when they are nervous, when they're crowded, when they feel threatened, but they are hesitant to leave. They don't want to just run away because maybe their cubs are there, their food is there, or they're feeling cornered. They make these kinds of noises. It's viewed by researchers to be how bears talk about situations without fighting and without retreating. Common bluster involves nervous bears, then they'll even pounce toward other bears or pounce toward people while they make this noise. They can slap the ground and they blow and huff. Sometimes it can almost sound like a growl. People will think the bears are growling. And sometimes it can be accompanied by a rush, like they'll rush at a person, a dog, another bear. It's usually a bluff that they don't like to. They would rather retreat, but when they can't just retreat, this is how they let you know, like, I'm not happy with this situation, right? So that's a clacking of the jaws, and they blow, they huff through their nose. And it used to be that people thought it was an aggressive sign, like I'm fixing to come, rip your head off. But they've realized that upon more study that, like, if a bear almost falls out of a tree, they'll clack their teeth and huff. They're afraid. They scared themselves, and so that is believed now to be more a sign of fear than aggression. And when they huff, it's almost like a deep breathing, like for a person who may feel nervous and a bear anxiety attack. There you go. So they huff. It's not really a sign of aggression. And that second sound that we heard was cubs and the mother. The cub was making the cooing sounds, and the mother was making a grunt sound, which is a common vocalization between the cub and the mother. And I thought this was fascinating when they talk about, why black bears are so timid, and they're not really aggressive critters. And so going back to I don't even know how to say this word, but an ice age, long time ago, North America, here where the black bears evolved, we had saber-toothed tigers, lions, wolves, and apparently something called a short-faced bear, which was way bigger than our black bear. And our black bears didn't stand a chance against any of these predators. But it had one advantage. It was the only one that could climb a tree. So the tree was safety against these other predators. And so they stayed near trees, and they lived by the rule, run first, ask questions later. They developed their mind is believed to be more like a prey animal than a predator animal. So they really do want to avoid situations. They're timid. And that attitude has really helped them survive where they live with grizzly bears, timber wolves, and also people, right? They will avoid confrontation given a chance to, right? And I think you've probably, people in this room have heard everything there is to say about not enticing them to want to stay around people, but keeping them with that timid attitude where they will avoid us unless they start to believe, that we're sources of Snicker bars and things like that. All right. Next. Easy one after the hard one. Everybody got that one? What is it? Turkey, right. That's a male gobbling turkey. Again, a common vocalization for mating and preening and showing off. You often hear them do that with all their feathers raised as they try to convince all the females that they're the best guy around. All right, here's another tough one. Oh, yeah, the turkey. There you go. Those are the wild turkeys. All right. They're puzzled. That's a tough one. One more time. Raccoon. Yeah. So raccoons are noisy critters. They have a lot of vocalization. That particular sound is believed to be when they're looking for each other in a family unit. Siblings looking for each other, mom looking for the kids, kids looking for the mom. That's a "where are you" kind of vocalization, which is another common vocalization that many wildlife have, looking for others in their herd or their family unit. All right, last one. It's easy, I think. All right, enough of that. That's the red-tailed hawk, right? And that is, as far as vocalization goes, on every Western movie, they said that the red-tailed hawk, that screech, is every raptor that's ever been in a movie, whether it was an eagle or a vulture or whatever it was. That's the most distinctive sound that they play to get people to think about raptors in general, or birds of prey. That's the hawk. All right, so those are all of our, okay, we're going to add them up in a minute, but I want to bring home this point. What do all of these animals have in common? Right, we have them all in Bent Tree. They all live here. And a large part of the diet of all of these animals is insects, right? All of them eat insects to a significant part in their diet. And what can we all do to make sure that they have enough insects to eat, to protect the insect population here in Bent Tree? We can all plant native plants. Those are host plants for our insects. We can remove invasives. And however that works for you, getting rid of the stilt grass. If you've got, God forbid, kudzu. What else do we have? Japanese honeysuckle, privet. Any of those, getting rid of that leaves more room for our native plants to fill in. And reducing light pollution. Lights on at night, as you know, attract insects. You can see them fluttering around the light, and it exhausts them. And I don't know if we really understand why they are drawn to the light, but they are, and they die because they spend all their energy just fluttering around that light. And if not for the heat of it, but just it does exhaust them. So reducing light pollution. It also helps the migrating birds as well when we don't have our outdoor lights on any more than is absolutely necessary. And speaking of native plants, and I talked about this last month, but Homegrown National Park, I really appreciate those that have registered their habitat. And it doesn't really have to, it can be a container on your deck. It's about, registering what you have in your yard that supports the native pollinators, the native wildlife. And Homegrown National Park is an organization that is partnering with the Audubon societies, the wildlife federations, the native plant societies. Their goal is education, and then to build this map to envision wildlife corridors. And the gentleman who started this, Doug Tallamy, saw the national parks as great, but they're isolated. They have isolated sections that we've set aside and said, okay, we're going to live here and nature's going to live over there. And that's not really the way it works. And so envisioning the corridors and the connections across the country, across the globe actually, well, I think the US and Canada is where they are now. So by us registering and demonstrating on this map the habitat that we provide, it helps them envision that the corridors and the places where, you know, like the city of Atlanta is probably a big block, and, you know, like you're not getting through there from one side to the other. So it's an interesting resource, and you don't have to like list specific plans. It's a very open-ended type of registration, and these are ones that have been around Bent Tree that have registered. The one that's red is me, and that's just because I was logged in to take the picture. Is the only reason it's red. I would love to see, I'm going to show this every month. I'm going to try to, if they'll let me, going into next year. And I'd love to see it just grow and grow as we all register our yards, our porches. And also the iNaturalist, we've had a few people join. If you download this app, and we've set up a Bent Tree project to register. So I would love to see more people get on that. I'm going to continue to talk about this and create learning opportunities and do my best to support folks as they start learning and making observations about the plants that are around you. If you pass it and you say, I've never seen that before, what is that? This is the app that can help you identify what that is, help you understand its value. So it's interesting, and it's it really helps you look down at what is right, around us and under our feet. Okay, that was the program. So thank you for that. I hope you had fun doing that. Do we have winner? Did y'all all work out winners for your tables? Okay, and we are going to finish up today with Michael. Michael has to be put last on the agenda, so when he's done, you can dismiss everybody. Okay? All right. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Normally, I speak at the beginning, and it's a very short, contrite speech, and then we have a great program like we did today, and my words are forgotten. So I asked to be put last because what I have to say is important from the board standpoint. And I'll open by saying I'll try to be brief, and when you hear somebody say that, be prepared. So I'm going to try and keep this brief. First, I want to thank everybody for allowing me to be on the board this year and the Lake and Wildlife Liaison. It has been a great experience, and I have enjoyed it immensely. Last year, believe it or not, I used to be a young, innocent, naive man. That's all changed in 1 year's time, and look at what I look like now. I do want to take a couple of minutes to recap the board's work this year. We have a meeting. The last work session will be Tuesday, 9 a.m. here, and the following week will be the last formal vote for the year, at which time we hope to approve the budget. I brought as a little prop here the 20-some-odd pages of draft 4 in trying to get a budget together for this year. It is not an easy task. Everyone, I'm assuming, got the Friday flyer, which Glenn kind of highlighted a couple of the items. Within an hour or two, you already saw a couple of people making negative remarks on social media. I'm going to move right on past that. This has been a lot of work, and at this point, I want to also say I want to thank Glenn for coming into what I consider basically a shitstorm and providing a very strong, steady guidance to this board. Glenn will be leaving his 3-year sentence, and I had a little note here to also thank Tom Robinson, who it deserves a round of applause as well for his years of work. And we've had, I want to acknowledge one other person who's not going to accept any of that, but was the guiding force, is Ralph on our CCF that passed this past week. Ralph will be the first to tell you that he was just a team player, and he is. But somebody took hold of the project and drove it from start to finish, and we passed that CCR change. It will be a help to this community on a long road ahead. So our fourth draft it's been a lot of work. One of the comments that opened up on the social media was, I just can't afford to live here any longer. It may be a reality to some people, but it should have a little asterisk beside it. And that asterisk should designate with what is provided to this community. It costs money, and it costs lots of money. And the biggest driver of the force of that is the world has changed. In 9/11, it changed. It changed with COVID. And it changed with COVID in terms of workers, labor. The people who want to work are in high demand and in short supply. And that drives prices up. We can go through all the details. I want to tell everybody I'm happy to be here. Ralph is a board member, Glenn's a board member, happy to answer and talk to you about anything coming up. To keep quality people to keep the quality of life that we have here requires a lot of money. There's no more putting ads in the paper and having people show up to apply for that job. There are people actively looking to steal quality people to come to work for them. And I'm going to throw out one example who I don't even know. Was our, I think, second generation, I don't want to just say it as mechanic, but he worked on all of our equipment, everything, repairing everything. Can you imagine what it costs to have a truck transmission go out that can be repaired here versus driving that equipment, taking it out of service down to a transmission shop? That man was making in the mid-50s and was hired away at $83,000 a year. That's what you have when you have the shortage of labor that we have and are experiencing. So that has driven prices up, and we can't afford to lose those people. The cost to replace that guy is 20% higher. So there's a lot of strain on the budget. We're not looking to cut what we have here. People will say, well, I don't play golf, I don't play tennis, I don't ride horses. We chose to live here knowing what those amenities were, and they cost money to keep up. And one of the comment that really bothered me was the board's just doing the same thing they do every year, try and raise revenue, and it's a never-ending cycle. That infuriates me, and it couldn't be further from the truth. Again, back to Glenn's stewardship of driving this process forward so that we can continue to provide the quality and public safety. The water department, if you saw the 10-year projections of what's needed to maintain our water and our quality, it's staggering. As I asked Ashley, do you have anything that costs less than 6 figures? And the answer is no. Now we have a water department that runs self-sufficient, but you will see increases in that water for the coming years that are down the road, whether it's water tank replacement, new filters. These are in the $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 purchases. So what I ask is ask questions, send emails. You're going to get a budget will be released, so you'll be able to look at it. It's all very transparent. And when you go through, like we've done 4 times, line by line, we need you to take another look at this purchase. We need you to look at this. I need to check on this amount. We have tasked our general manager with doing the top, most efficient way that can be done, and he's doing it. I feel very good. I feel like this budget has come together and we'll be able to approve it week after next. And there's one other area I'd like to ask, and I'm as guilty as anybody else. I'd like for you to ask you, your neighbors, to please come back and visit the tavern. I'm no different. I stopped going when the quality of the food and the service declined. My money's too valuable, just like yours is. We've invested a lot of money to turn that around, and we need your support at the tavern to make this thing work. We are actively pursuing golf. You look around, Crystal Falls, Lake Arrowhead, Big Canoe, their memberships are closed. They're not taking anymore. We have got capacity out the yin-yang back here. So we will be actively pursuing golf memberships. We're doing everything we can to continue the level of service that you expect and deserve. And with that, all I ask is take a good look. These are your neighbors here. This is our community. We want to maintain the level that we have. Thank y'all, and have a great day.
Don't leave these books and these cards on those tables. Somebody take them and enjoy them, okay? All right, and thanks for coming. See you next time.